We're live.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to our summer hours. Adequate notice of this meeting of Lawrence Township Council being held on Tuesday, June 18, 2024, has been provided through the posting of the annual meeting schedule of said council in accordance with Section 13 of the Open Public Meetings Act. Said notice was forwarded to the Trentonian, the Times, and the Princeton Packet on December 11th, 2023. I would like to, at this moment, take an opportunity to salute the policemen of Lawrence Township on their 100th anniversary. They held a gala on Friday, which was outstanding, and just want to recognize them for their 100th year anniversary. Also, this morning we had our Juneteenth celebration for the first time here in Lawrence Township. I want to thank the staff, everyone here who participated and helped make it such a wonderful event. I would like to recognize Councilwoman Ilya Perry for her work and contributions to the event, and just thank the community for coming out also to that celebration. And lastly, this is also Pride Month, so I wanted to also give recognition for our LGBTQ community as they celebrate Pride Month. And we're halfway through it, I want to recognize that. With that, now we can have an inspiration.
May we carry out our work at this meeting in a just, honorable, and sincere manner, always bearing in mind our duties to continue to keep Lawrence a wonderful community in which to live. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mayor,
Yes.
does it look like you have video?
Oh, okay.
We have audio.
That's fine.
If I touch something, I run the risk of messing it all up. So,
I'm okay with no video.
fortunately, it is what it is. I don't have a.
Back in the day, just give it a whack.
Yeah, I don't want to touch it. And if people can hear, that's good enough. For,
Okay, Madam Clerk, you can have a roll call.
Mr. Biden.
Here.
Mr. Knappy.
Here.
Perry.
Here.
Mr. Ryan.
Here.
Mayor Brown.
Here. We will now have a special presentation by Mr. Robert Miller of ELSA, which is the Ewing Lawrence Sewage Authority. Your first comments. Along with, since we don't have video, with Mr. Dennis Yoder, the engineering consultant from Remington and Brennick Engineers, regarding the application of ELSA to the New Jersey Department of Environmental Protection for sanitary sewer force main installation within the township right of way.
And we brought also from Remington, Nicholas Tuckett. Okay, yeah. Thank you very much. I will not be wrong. Have a problem. Okay. I've come invited tonight to share our plan. And our plan includes the installation from 4th Street in Ewing, plant on Whitehead Road, a dualizing sewer line. And it is approximately 11,365 feet of force main, pipes of various sizes, and will travel parallel to Shabacon Creek, running adjacent to Colonial Lake, and below the Delaware and the Raritan Canal into the Elsa plant, which is located at 600 Whitehead Road. all of the public sewer from Ewing goes to 4th Street, approximately 1,200,000 gallons from Hopewell will be going to 4th Street and through Ewing to the plant. And what we have long been waiting for, and we are doing now, putting in this new pipeline to ensure service and with the age of the reinforced concrete line that has been there for quite a few years, it definitely is a move for resiliency and protection. And I have brought my friends from Remington Burnett to do a PowerPoint and to share with you the details. And we're here to answer questions if and when. And everybody get out of the way.
Again, my name is Dennis Schroeder with Remington Burnett, and I appreciate this opportunity to present this project, which is important infrastructure for the Union Water Sewage Authority. Back in the 1950s, when the wastewater plant was built, there was an initial interceptor that served both Ewing and Lawrence, run along the Shabbatton Creek. And back then, the environmental permitting was not different than it is today, so it was something that was easily constructed. And then soon after, they realized that to handle the capacity of both townships, that there would have to be something else. So there was a 4th Street pump station built in Ewing with a RCP concrete pipe force main running parallel to the existing gravity sewer that was originally used for both. So now the gravity sewer is mainly used just for Lawrence Township connections and for emergency overflow to bypass at the 4th Street station. Sometime in 1989, late 80s, there was an attempt to dualize the force main because of increased flows in Ewing Township. And of 11,000 feet, nearly half of that was dualized with new ductile iron pipe. Unfortunately, we're at a point where that ductile iron pipe do not have very long longevity, and they've got a lot of holes in the bottom, and they're at a point where we've taken that out of service. So this project now comes back in and it puts a new pipe in place of that ductile iron pipe, which is no longer in use. And we also dualized the second portion of that where it was not done. Now, where it wasn't done was some challenging areas. And one of the areas in which I have some questions is when we get around Colonial Lake. 90% of the new force main stays within the existing easement. But when we get near Colonial Park, because of some of the environmental constraints, trees and things we would have to take down, we definitely time we rerouted into some township roadways. And so I'll turn it over to Nick and he can show a little bit of the route that we've chosen and what we're doing for the project.
Thank you, Dennis. Good evening, everybody. So we go through the presentation right now. So just a couple of discussion objectives for what we're going to go through tonight. We have the overview of public impact, public status, and timeline. And lastly, we have the location history, so what we're expecting. So a lot of this overview, Dennis has already gone over, but the key highlights is we're staying within the existing sewer easement for the bulk of the project, which is Shabbatton Creek, and that we're doing utilization as Dennis provided before. So these two slides is going to be passed over. We've got some graphics of the existing wastewater treatment plant and the pump stations. One of the other key takeaways for this project is the fact that we will be utilizing trenches technologies in specific areas, such as major highways, to avoid any sort of impact to public and to township. So I'm showing right now currently a map that shows the where the force main starts and where it ends. As we kind of see over here in the beginning, that's where the 4th Street pump station is. And as it goes to the end there, we see the wastewater treatment plant. We're going to look into this aligning in a little bit more detail. One of the things I just wanted to quickly go over was open trench technology versus trenches technology. as we can see in the graphic on the left here, a trench technology means that we're going to actually have to go into the road and open that we're going to an easement or any place we're going to be installing the pipeline. We're going to physically have to actually open up the pipe. But in the second figure here, we have trenches technology. And we can kind of see here in the trenches technology, it's very beneficial when you're going underneath highways, rivers, or other bodies that we generally would not want to open up and interfere with. So again, it's a little graphic, little animation, kind of showcasing how the trenches technology works. And again, it shows the highway in the middle there and how we are able to go underneath that without impacting the existing infrastructure. Okay, so I'm going to just briefly go over the public impact. So we can kind of see on the map over here. I'm just going to stay up here for a second. So we have the purple alignment here, which this is one half of the project. The purple line shows essentially, or the pink line shows the sewer easement that we're going to be working within. It's a 20-foot wide easement, so existing sewer easement or staying within that area. And as you can see, as we mentioned in the pink area, that's all of the it's a sewer easement and it's all forested area. So as we're going through that, as we go back through, we're going to restore that as it is. So we don't, anywhere to that pink area, we don't foresee or anticipate any sort of public impact. Now, we do see a couple of areas where there's orange circles and red circles. So the orange circles represent areas where there's trenchless technologies that we're using. And then the red circle is the only area where we're going to be doing open trench excavation within the highway area. Like I said, all the other highways and roads in this project, we're going to stay out of the, at least on this screen right here, we're going to stay out of the road. And so as Dennis was mentioned earlier, this is the second half of the force main, and you can kind of still see the pink, which is that existing sewer easement. And we're going to working through that, and we're going to restore that in time as we're going through the construction. Then we kind of approach that green section. So that green section is the Colonial Park, as Dennis had described before. We don't anticipate or foresee much impact other than will be temporarily there's a parking area, which I will show in greater detail. But other than in the parking area, we don't foresee much of an impact on that area. And then again, as the contractor is working throughout the park, they will restore it to existing conditions. Lastly, we go off into that blue section, as you can see on the map there. That blue section that Dennis had mentioned before as well, that's when we go into the public streets. And for that, we would expect a minor impact to the roads. And one of the key takeaways is we are going to restore that to what it is now. So full width overlay, meaning we're going to repave the roads and restore everything that's disturbed. Okay, so I'm just going to go over, these are very general, but just the project status and timeline. So currently RVE is putting together the design, and we're also reaching out for a permit for the project. So that's currently in status. ELSA we're working with ELSA to do the funding, and the funding is going to be through iBank. And again, just very preliminary dates here, but we anticipate construction starting sometime in the summer of 2025. But we're working through those deadlines currently. And then finally, we get to locations and streets. So at a high level, this is the whole project, which you've kind of already seen. So we can kind of go into a little bit more of the details. So this first road here is Lawrenceville Road. Again, we're going to be utilizing a trenchless technology, so we don't foresee any impact on this area. So we can move on to the next one. The next one we have is Princeton Pike. Princeton Pike also is the only highway we're going to be doing an open trench excavation. So we do foresee moderate impact, but we will be setting up traffic control plans, detours, and working with the contractor to make sure that we have as little impact in the public as possible. Then we have the New Jersey Highway 1, which again, we are utilizing trenchless technology, so we don't foresee any impacts. Then we are moving into the Colonial Park. And again, you can see in that little hatched area there, that's where we're going to, that's where our limited disturbances is going to be. So a little small portion of the parking lot will be disturbed, but we will restore that in kind. This is the second half after going into the park and moving to the residential area. So we can kind of see how we're going to the road there. And again, the hatching is representing new asphalt, new sidewalk, and everything. So we, again, open trench excavation through the residential area. And we do anticipate we're going to restore everything back in time. So those are those roads there. Actually, when you go into So, part, Lake Drive is, which it's for the tip of Lake Drive, but a very small portion of Lake Drive. Mainly, it's going to be Winchester Avenue, and it's also going to be Glenview Drive. Then finally, we're going to do another trenches technology underneath the river, and that's how we're going to tie into the wastewater treatment plant. So that's everything that I have for today. If anybody has any questions, we'd be glad to answer them for you.
Yeah. So I guess the biggest question I have, and thank you for the presentation, really helpful. What does that former trench digging look like in a residential area? Is it, and even with Princeton Pike, how long do you foresee sort of, okay, we'll start with Princeton Pike, how long do you foresee that intersection being impacted? And then for the residents of Colonial Lakelands, how long do you foresee their street being sort of in churn?
So we don't always have control of our contractors, but a large project like this, we should have somebody with a lot of experience. So I would expect that they would do half the road one night and half the next night. If they're going to get in there and get out, then they have to come back. They're going to base pave everything back in, allow a settlement period, then I'll come out and mill out. So there could be 60 days later, 90 days later, come back and have another overnight type of thing. We're dealing with the DOT, the county, and the township, and getting approvals on the approach that we need to do for the various roads.
And Mayor, if I can follow up, the construction timeline for the residential areas, I'm assuming it'll be during the daytime hours?
Yes, that would be the plan for that. And
I guess that's it. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you so much. Am I seeing you again today? Question for you, when you do the trench digging, is that like when you're doing the sewer, like from house, you're using a smaller bucket, so it would only be impacted only part of the road?
well, we're dealing with a 30-inch pipe.
So 30 inch.
So it will be a bigger excavation cut, but you're going to be dealing with a contractor that's going to be able to shore that. And we're not that deep, so we only need 4 foot of cover. At most points, we don't, obviously we have a certain profile we're trying to achieve, so we don't have too many air release manholes and things like that. But most of it's not a very deep excavation project. So again, a good contractor can keep this trench tight and be able to do that. Obviously, that's the work we know to save zone.
Now, follow up on that. Now, when you want to repave it, now are you repaving the whole road or just that trench area? Because we do have, I believe in Colonial Lake, isn't there a moratorium? Because we just had Colonial Lake paved.
There's parts of that have been repaved. And so what we're doing is we're base paving the trench area all the way up to the surface, allowing a 60-90 day, and then we're overlaying curb to curb. So it looks nice again.
Great. Thank you so much. Thanks, Mayor.
Yes.
Question for you is, the pipe that's run alongside of the lake right now, for all the years I worked for you, we never had a problem. The problem was across the street at the shopping center. So why aren't you looking at that pipe to be slip lined, or what condition it's in before we say we're going to put the new pipe in on this street? I understand why we got to do it. Don't get me wrong. When you build 4th Street, I understand all that. We have to go with the bigger pipes and more flow and everything. But to ignore the 2 pipes that's next to the lakeland, other than extra permits is going to involve, in my opinion, if they can be slip lined, the pipes are in good shape. There's never been a leak at Colonial Lakeland. It was across the street at the shopping center. Plenty of them.
Agree. So the dualized part ends at the shopping center. So when you're going through the lake, all we have is the gravity main and also the existing RCCP pipe force main, which has had no problems.
Right.
Now, once we get this dualized, so there's no second pipe there. So we're doing this just for hydraulics and just have a redundancy. That pipe's getting pretty old.
Yes.
So when this project gets done, we're going to go back and actually do non-destructive testing of that pipe to see what, if it has to be lined or slip lined in the future. But by having it, the existing this new force main dualized the whole way, we'll be able to take the second one out of service to do rehabilitation work in the future. So this is only phase one of a maybe three-phase project, because they got to upgrade the pump station, and then we got to go back and look at the existing RCC pipe.
During early analysis, we looked at the ductile iron portion, which Dennis said, and it does.
Right.
I know how many times, and I think you may know also, John, how many times we dug in the parking lot. We looked at lining, we looked at pipe bursting, we looked at costs, and end result was we decided that it wasn't going to cost us for that portion anymore, any more than replacing the pipe. So to get the 3 years of life. The other thing I want to share is when we get closer to construction, we are going to have a meeting in Lawrence, and we are going to have a meeting in Ewing. I'm going to ask to have it here, actually, in this building, and I will do the municipal building in Ewing for their involvement to share and answer questions. And before I disappear, I did it the last time I was here. I don't want to do it this time. Is that a faithful, long-time member of the Ewing Lawrence Storage Authority board is sitting in the front row, Harold Doreen, and he doesn't let me out the gate at Elsa without him coming and watching my back or watching what I'm doing. So I just want to introduce him. I didn't the last time I did it, and I was mad at myself afterward. And I'll make sure I do it now. He has served many years on the Elsa board and served very well. And he's not a fixture. He's for real, and we have to keep him happy.
Thank you for being here, Mr. Also a former councilor.
I'm still confused why we're not looking at the pipe in Colonial Lakeland first.
We are going to look at it.
After you put the new line in, then we're going to look at it. All right, but my thing is, if we can look at it now, you might not have to put that new line in, or you put one next to the existing line that's there, instead of ripping up a road and everything.
Yeah. So there's enough for the build out and everything else. There's enough hydraulic capacity in that RCC pipe by itself. So the line has to be dualized, and by what was selected, when we go back to the pump station, we'll actually be able to reduce the horsepower, reduce the energy cost at the pumping station by having effectively a 30-inch inside diameter instead of a 24-inch inside diameter pipe. So you'll have a 24 and a 30. We'll be able to take the 24 out in the future, take a look at that, and have plenty of capacity in the other line. So, we'd like to sit down with the plans and show you what the concept is. But the idea is we didn't need to utilize the whole line when we ran our hydraulic models.
And we're not going to forget about the line in service now, which is 24/7 at a high capacity. When we get the new line on, as you know, I believe, we're going to go back and check at aged reinforced concrete line and determine, is it fine? Does it need lining? Is there sections that need repair? We are going to assess it so that when we're done, it too will be available for use. We're not going to abandon that concept, abandon it, or come back 10 years later. Once we have the new force main in place, we're going to go back and look at that one, and that is our intention. But
we haven't had a lot of problems there, but 2 years ago, there in Denver Law, there was an air release manhole, and then a 2-inch gasket blew off, and like a 50-foot geyser going up. Unfortunately, we had the gravity line that was low flow season, so we're able to bypass into the Lawrence line during that period. But if we get that during wet weather flows, we had to drain that line back to do that repair and release the pressure. So I think this is just gonna increase the resiliency of the whole system.
And bottom line, your numbers is dollars. It's unfortunately it's yielding expense. So here that's okay. When I tell them that yielding it's our expense, they're not so sure. He's happy about that, but they do pay the new one, as you will.
I can't hear one mic.
You can close.
Yeah, come close to the mic. They can't.
A school teacher, and they tell you that every time. It is a viewing cost. Like that service will be borne by viewing. If we were doing it in Lawrence, and we do have plans to do some lines in Lawrence, that will be a Lawrence expense. If there are any questions, we're here to answer them. The best we can.
Thank you for the presentation. Any other additional questions here? Thank you very much.
Mayor, I think there's a question from the audience.
Okay. We'll do that in public participation, or do they want to come forward now? Would you like to come forward now or for your question?
Please.
I'll just state your name and your address and sign on the sheet there for us.
My name is Tom Ritter, and I live at 747 Lake Drive. And in the early part of your conversation, I think you mentioned something about trees. No,
Yes,
as the piping goes across the park, will there be any trees in danger of them coming down? Or will they be-
Yeah. so there is one large tree where we come there and we're requiring a contractor to hand excavate in and around that region.
So that won't be set.
That's the intent. We don't want to lose any trees in the park.
Okay, and how about,
In the microphone, please, so we can't hear you.
how about the, I'm not sure exactly where you're coming off of Route 1 in Nickel Park. Is the tennis courts / pickleball court in the neighborhood?
Parking lot. Parking lot.
But not the tennis court. Yeah. And across the parking lot to the lakeside. Okay. Thank you.
Are there any other questions? Would you come forward, please?
Good evening, Jim Hooker, Bunkerville Avenue. I don't know whether we should say, we don't have any kind of vote from our executive board, but we just heard about this meeting tonight. So Tom Ritter is the president of the Friends of Colonial Lake nonprofit, and I'm on the executive board. We were kindly informed by a council person about this evening's meeting and what was to be discussed. I'd just like to double down on Mr. Ritter's ask about the trees. That is really, really concerning, as you know. The bald eagle roosts up there to hunt. There's gorgeous twin copper beaches down there. We have to make sure that whoever's going to hand that excavate knows what they're doing. Mr. Pissarro, Mike from the Watershed Institute is here watching closely. We have to make sure that they know what they're doing. There was a guy who did a hand excavate across the street from me on one of our gorgeous sycamores in the neighborhood, and they cut the darn taproot. And so then within 2 or 3 years, it died, and you had to take the whole thing down. I mean, really, it may sound petty, small, whatever, from Mike and Tom. It's not. Those trees make the park, and they got to be handled with extreme care. And it can't be after the fact that we hear from these guys, I'm sorry, we didn't mean to cut the taproot. I'm sorry, we had to bulldoze those twin beaches. We cannot allow them to do that. Then we'll tell them to trench it underneath like you do in those other areas, or whatever you gotta do to stay away from those trees. So that's my only point, and let's not, you guys are fantastic, everyone on this council, Manager Lewinsky, you've all proven to be fantastic allies and stewards of the park. So let's not let something happen where after the fact, right, we're like, oh gosh, we just didn't see it. Well, let's see it, let's make sure, and let's hold their feet to the fire, okay? Thanks very much.
All right, any other questions or comments? Please come forward.
Sylvia Cobus, Ohio Avenue. I don't live in that neighborhood, but I do go, we enjoy the park a lot, and the trees do make that park. And as Jim mentioned about the bald eagle, that's what I saw first, bald eagle in the wild for me, and I'm from Europe, so it was a big deal for me. So I would really like to stand in solidarity with Colonial Lake Park and the Friends of, to make sure that the council and engineering department, whoever is going to be going out there to inspect that, make sure that no trees are sacrificed. Thank you.
Just a follow comment. That's the reason we ended up going into this. If you walk down that walking bridge and there's this really nice trees, there's a whole corridor there. That's where the existing pipes run. So that's why we stayed away from there.
Any other comments from the audience or council? Thank you for your presentation.
Mayor, I have a comment. Just to enforce what Mr. Hooker's concern was and what Ms. Kobus and the others' concern was, Mr. Ritter. Is there an avenue where, as we get closer, that the plans, we can have the plans reviewed by a horticulturist or like an arborist to make sure that they're consistent with the idea that the tree needs to be preserved and not put in peril? Is that something that you guys would consider as a part of the process?
We will consider doing whatever we can to preserve those things.
Yeah, and best intentions, I understand, but
Appreciate the trees.
Yeah.
I appreciate anything that I heard. I totally support it.
okay, appreciate that.
Thank you. Well, thank you for your presentation. However,
Try to make that a condition of any approval.
Yeah, that's what I think we should do.
Yeah.
Or if you want to say that, you should say that. I mean, I think that's a good idea. Like whether it's in the resolution or what.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
Mayor, I'm sorry. With regard to the comment dealing with an arborist or some professional with the trees, I mean, I would think it might be appropriate, given the comments, from the citizens, that be a condition of any approval for this. And while we're not looking at the immediate timetable to do this, I think that would certainly be reasonable, and that we do notice is given that would have to be satisfied during the project. I don't think it's unreasonable. I think the comments certainly were serious in that that once any of these trees come down or whatever, you're never going to replace them, and it certainly would be to the benefit of the township to have that condition.
I think that's a very good point. All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This will now bring us to the first opportunity for public participation. If there's any questions, any comments, anything you want to discuss?
Good evening, Charles Sullivan, 65 West Long Drive. I have a few questions and I want to ask them in different parts. The first one is for Madam Mayor. Can you tell me in regards to the fire station, if any other location other than Lawrence Road Firehouse was considered?
We haven't discussed the location as of yet. So in
My
terms
question
of-
though is, has any other location been looked at in regards to the firehouse station? Because it seems to me that everyone is set on West Long Drive as a.
No, not everyone. This council has made no decisions or statements as to a location for a fire station.
Good evening. As I had stated last meeting, and just for clarification going forward, there has been no decision, there has been no location chosen for any consolidation or any new fire station at all. What we're looking at is feasibility. The fire study was simply information that was presented as background foundation for the township fire safety. The subcommittee is reviewing from the beginning what would be best. We are light years away from making any clear, defined location selections because there are other issues before we even get there.
But I just feel that other locations are not being looked at.
We didn't get there yet.
Why do we keep reading everywhere that it wants to be?
And that's why it doesn't matter what you're reading, madam, respectfully. What I would like to share with you is that we will be making the decisions here on council. So we are saying to you that the propaganda that is happening in the streets is not true.
Well, I don't know that it's propaganda happening in the streets. There was an article that was just from the township that was stating that that's the location that you are leaning towards putting the fire station. I don't know. I guess I'm the only person that finds that a problem.
We are not leaning towards anything at West Lawn at this moment.
Okay, so are any locations being looked at currently?
Again, we are not looking at any locations for consolidation because we have other issues to completely address first before we can get to the next step on what's best for the community. Where would be the best location if we even do consolidate?
It's premature.
Yeah, we're going step by step because just so that you understand, we operate under a structure of career firemen and volunteer firemen.
Oh, I understand that. I understand that. I understand.
So we are currently operating with an issue of we don't have enough people.
Well, I get that too, but that doesn't have anything to do with the location of the firehouse.
It has a lot to do with it.
There are other priorities that we're looking at before we go into that particular issue. Does that make sense? That's what she's telling.
Not really.
If we can't staff a location, then
What's that?
if we can't staff a location, then it's not functioning.
Okay, but so moving it to a different location is going to staff it?
One thing at a time.
We're not,
Yes.
yes, there was a study, right? We released it because everyone wanted to see it, right? The main priorities that we have with regards to fire and safety, the number one priority is not about the location, it's about other issues with regards to staffing, where the direction of what the township wants to go in. So the location of the firehouse is not the primary issue that we are reviewing at this time. At some point down the line, yes, that will be part of the process that we need to engage in. Has the location been decided? No, because our focus right now is on more critical issues within our community, within our fire and safety that we want to address first. Does that make sense? The
I'm
building.
just gonna say, when it gets to the point of looking for a location, don't just focus on West Long Drive, because you might miss another opportunity. And that's the feeling that I'm getting, that
You're absolutely right. Why would we do that? We would not just look at one location. We want to do whatever is best for our community.
I hope so.
Yes, absolutely. That's what we're committed to. We are committed to doing what is best for our community. So we would, when you're buying a house, you don't just look at one house, right? You would look at several options. But for us, we're not at that. That's not in our timeline at this time. You understand that?
It's just hard for me to believe, because I
know.
Because,
Mhm.
and it's from, not from people around the township, it's from here, that the location is going to be West Long Drive. It's got all these reasons why it should be West Long Drive.
And I can understand how that is upsetting to you, or maybe you have very strong feelings about it. I hear you, I understand that. But I'm telling you that we have not made a decision on the location of and if we consolidate or do a new building for our fire department. Okay.
Jim Cleek, I understand that it's premature and I also understand why people, when you see thing in the Lawrence Ledger, a detailed discussion about the two different investigations that were made and the grant and so on, there's an awful lot of mention. Just made it sound as though there already been a decision made about decentralization and an awful lot of talk about this location. But I know that that's still premature. But just one question unrelated to that, before I forget it, when I understood that the only location that the township owned was Slackwood, and I gather that was out of hand. It seems to have been not considered, but then I was surprised to read that Lawrence Road had initially been considered. I guess there was thought that location had enough space. I don't know how or where, but to rebuild that as an alternative to a brand new one. But that was rejected when the township learned that was owned by the fire company, not by the township. And I just wondered, what's that mean? If the township owns it, who owns it? Are the members stockholders or something?
I'm sorry, if who owns it? What?
Who owns the
Yeah,
firehouse?
if the fire company owns that instead of the township, I thought the fire companies were the township.
Yeah. No, I mean, I can shed some light onto this. The 3 volunteer fire houses were built and funded separate from the town 100 years ago or so, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they are operated, owned by the volunteer fire companies as a nonprofit entity serving the community.
So when
So-
that closes and it's sold, who?
the volunteer fire company,
they're-
but they don't share the money among membership. The law requires that volunteer money that's received, it must be shared with another volunteer, like charitable or nonprofit event. But let me just, this is a good opportunity for me to just explain.
Yeah.
So those 3 volunteer fire houses and fire companies serve the community and still serve the community for more than 100 years. They were owned separate and apart from the town. I believe 30 years ago or so, they Lawrence Road came into disrepair to the point where the volunteers did not have the money, and Lawrenceville didn't have the money to make the substantial structural improvements to allow it to continue on. So they reached out to the governing body for assistance because they're serving the community. At that point in time, the governing body determined that it was important to keep them maintained in the structure sound so they can continue to provide the services to the township. There was an agreement in the deeds that reverted in order to get the financing from the town to do it, the town needed to be the owners of the building. So they switched ownerships to the township, but there was a reverter clause in the deed that said 20 years after this ownership expires, it goes back to the volunteers. So, I mean, it's a reverter clause. It's like a first year law school property exam. I never saw it before in 30 years, but that's where we are right now. We maintain the buildings. The volunteers provide an important service to us. So that's why we continue to do what we're doing, but we don't own, we are not deed owners to Lawrenceville or Lawrence Road, but we do own Slackwood.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, that's the history behind it.
I hear you. So anticipate the next question, Lawrenceville is the same.
Same situation.
And that's the one that's being, assuming that the centralized one decided upon wherever it's at, that one's plans are to continue that one. And is that because of the amount of buildings in that part of area that?
Yeah. The studies did geo mapping of response to determine response times from the various locations, from the municipal building, from Lawrence Road, from Lawrenceville, to get the 5-minute to 7-minute response time. So you'll see mappings. I think it's in the Cotter Strategies one. So although that Lawrenceville is strategically there to cover the northern Lawrence areas as well. And so it becomes very important to maintain that. Plus the building itself is substantially advanced to the point where we have our career there now because it meets most of the criteria for it. Yeah. And so that's where that comes from. It's the geo mapping to determine where strategically our response times are the best to cover the town. So that's like that.
Yeah, hi, Nancy Alverson. I just have a question regarding Trenton Block and Hardscape. Go back a couple months, last year sometime, they said we were gonna put a fence on the end of the property so that they would stop trespassing. A couple weeks ago, they had trucks back there on that property again, and they were loading from that piece of property. So I'm reaching out to you guys to ask to please try to expedite that so I don't have to keep on being crime watch. Okay, thank you.
Seeing no other public comment, I will close public comment for this portion of the meeting. you need to review anything on the agenda or any revisions?
Mayor, I'd like to, separate, let's see. Page 2, please.
Mayor? I think we should probably separate H1, the resolution authorizing endorsing the ELSA application so that we could add amend it for Mr. Sykes' advice to council.
Okay. So that's H1 and H2.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm not seeing on the agenda, the resolution that we tabled the last time.
Okay. And that resolution, that was the Oprah?
Correct. It was, ordinance number 2472-24. I'd like to put that on as 10C. Did we put that, we didn't put that one?
No, because it's moot at this point. It
Oh, the
passed.
table.
I understand that, but it's moot. It's already passed.
Where's the,
Mr. Sykes,
Well-
if you table something,
I mean, it has no legal basis now. The governor signed the bill. I mean, you can take it from table, but if you pass it, it really doesn't have any effect on there's no pending legislation.
Right.
So
Can I explain it?
Go ahead.
So it was a support for us to be able to say yes to the modernization of it. But you guys tabled it, really not support it. It was so that we can send it to the governor's office and we can send it to the other legislators. Well, now it's no point in sending it to anyone because it passed on June 5th. So it's already signed into law. It's going to take effect in September 5th.
Yeah. So from a housekeeping point of view, there's really no reason to take a vote on it because it would have no legal force and effect.
very good, thank you.
thank you for the clarification. Moving right on, if we can have a motion for the adoption of minutes from our previous meeting.
No, you want to move a second.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Do something.
Yes. So we are going to move the items for revision in the agenda.
Right.
And that is item number H1
And
and H2.
H2.
I
We
second.
have a motion and a second. Madam Clerk, if you could call the roll.
What are we doing? What's happening?
There,
H1 and H2 are resolutions. So when we get to that point where we say moving in the block, we're going to pull them out
Right.
and then we're going to discuss them individually.
Right.
Okay,
So they just want to.
you're doing it now. Okay, got it.
am I out of order? Am I out of
Well,
order?
normally what happens is just that we wait till resolutions to come and whoever is going to be moving in a block, you just pull it out. I didn't know if we were eliminating them from
No,
the
we're not
agenda.
eliminating it.
So we're just making that motion to move them out from the block from the block. Okay.
For
That's,
discussion.
that's all. I apologize for jumping in. I didn't want them to go away without discussion.
Just discussion.
Yeah, it's just, it concerns me that we're, and I'll defer to our council, but it seems overly legal to sort of have motions about whether we're gonna read them in a block or not. It seems as if
Under Robert's rules, you can do it either way. This just ensures that there'll be discussion on H1 and H2, so the record is clear, but you can go either way.
Okay, so, Madam
So
Clerk.
did you? Mr. Biden? Yes. Mr. Pinaki?
Yes.
Ms. Perry?
Yes.
Mr. Ryan?
Yes.
Mayor Brown?
Yes. Okay. Now, if we can have a motion to adopt the minutes from our previous meeting.
Madam Mayor, on 8A and B, since you were not members of council, you cannot vote on that.
That is correct.
If there's no, if there's no concerns, I'd like to move 8A and B in the block. A, closed session December 5th, 2023, and B, 8B, closed session December 19th, 2023.
Second.
Okay. Okay, Madam Clerk, if you could call the roll, please.
Mr. Robin?
Yes.
Mr. Kanaki?
Yes.
Ms. Perry?
Abstain.
Mr. Ryan?
Yes.
And Mayor Garner.
Abstain. Now, if we can have a motion to move the regular minutes. Exceeding.
Madam Mayor, I would like to make a motion to move the minutes for a special meeting January 5th, 2024, C, and D, regular meeting January 16th, 2024.
Second.
With the motion and second, Madam Clerk, if you could call the roll, please.
Mr. Robin? Yes. Mr. Kanaki?
Yes.
Ms. Perry?
Yes.
Mr. Ryan?
Yes.
Mayor Garner.
Yes. Okay, now we're moving as well as of this, so can I have a motion?
Madam Mayor, may I make a motion to take in a block 9A, 9B, and 9C?
Mayor,
Sorry,
I'm
excuse
here, point of order. I think
Yes.
we need to do that separately.
Yes.
Yes,
All right.
you do.
After I started. Madam Mayor, I have a motion.
Yes, we do.
Yeah. It's been a long day. To move 9A, number 2020, authorizing award of bid number 20-05, residential concrete sidewalk program. May I have a second?
Madam Clerk, the motion and second.
Mayor, can we have a description by the township manager about what this is? Thank you.
This is a part of our sidewalk, residential concrete sidewalk program. And this awards the bid to Manny Concrete LLC in the amount of $67,000. And as you all know, that this is a program open to our residents and property owners. And what they do is they can get the sidewalks replaced at a substantially reduced cost. It's collected over a 5-year period of time. So it's a good deal for.
Is there any public participation? Seeing none, if you could call the roll, please. And close the closing public participation.
Mr. Robin?
Yes.
Mr. Kanaki?
Yes.
Ms. Perry?
Yes.
Mr. Ryan?
Yep.
Mayor Garner.
Yes. And now if we have a motion.
May I have a motion for the awarding of 9B, number 2021, authorizing award of bid number 24-06, various road stripping program to Traffic Lines, Inc.
Mr. Manager, is there anything you'd like to add?
This is bid 221 and it's for, sorry. This is for bid 221 and it approves of a bid to go to Traffic Lines Incorporated in the amount of $43,136. And this is for road striping underneath our road improvement program.
Okay, if you call the roll. Participation, bear with me, y'all, because I need 2 meetings a month. Is there any public participation? Seeing none, I'm closing for public participation. If we could call the roll, please, Madam Clerk.
Mr. Robin?
Yes.
Mr. Kanaki?
Yes.
Ms. Perry?
Yes.
Mr. Ryan?
Yes.
Mayor Garner.
Yes.
Madam Mayor, may I have a motion for awarding 9C, number 2222, authorizing rejection of bids for 24.04 Nature Center Site Improvement.
Yeah, this is a recommendation from our municipal engineer that indicates that the bids that we received were substantially in excess of what the municipal engineer's estimated costs were to be. So we are going to look at the costs again, and we'll put this out for bid one more time.
Is there any comment from the public? Seeing none, and with public participation, Madam Clerk, if you could call the roll, please.
Mr. Dobbin?
Yes.
Mr. Mackey?
Yes.
Ms. Perry?
Yes.
Mr. Ryan?
Yes.
Mayor Plummer?
Yes.
Mr. Bobby, can you take number 10, please?
If the mayor's all right.
Councilman Bobbitt, yes.
Mayor, I'd like to move 10A ordinance number 247324 and ordinance amending ordinance number 2464-24 salary ordinance of the Township of Lawrence, unclassified and or exempt seasonal emergency non-union employees for 2023-25, amending Schedule B grade for years 2024 and 2025, condensing from 11 steps to 6 steps.
Is there a
Second.
second? Is there need for any comment, discussion?
Kevin, you're gonna give an explanation?
Yeah, sure. So as we shared information outside of this council meeting, we have had a new appointment of municipal court judge. This gave us an opportunity to review the salary guide for the municipal court judge. Our municipal court is substantially different than it was in 2017 at the time that this salary guide existed. At that time in 2017, 2018, and I know I was the judge in 2017, and then Judge Corn took over and was there in 2018. The municipal court met on Monday nights, 2 sessions on Tuesday, 2 sessions on Wednesday, and 2 to 3 times a month on Friday for special DWI sessions. It averaged about 20 hours to 22 hours a week of court time in which the judge was to preside over court matters. Post-pandemic, with virtual court coming into play, with a dramatically decreased summonses being issued by the police department from an example of 9,000, just generalized, 9,000 to 3,000. And with the elimination of a Monday night session and an average time in court time for our municipal court judge being between 6 hours and 8 hours, as opposed to 20 and 22 hours, with a new appointment was an opportunity for us to review our court and determine what an appropriate salary would be based upon the part-time position a municipal court judge brings to our community and the amount of time that would be required of that judge to do the work that we need him to do or her to do. In reviewing it and seeing that it's almost 1/3 of the amount of time that's required, I felt it was appropriate to eliminate 6 steps, to reduce the salary guide to 6 steps and reduce the maximum salary from $110,000 to what this $80,000 it's on the guide. This is not this to me deals mostly with fiscal responsibility, and it provides a unique opportunity because it affects just one position. The judge is more than adequately compensated, in my opinion, for the work for the time that he has to be here to do the work. And so that's my recommendation, because we're all stewards of the town's money, and we all want to make sure that the taxpayers are their money is protected, and that our part-time appointments, when we have an opportunity to review and determine what's an appropriate salary, we do it. And that's what my recommendation is.
Has this been discussed with the current judge? Or?
No, it has nothing to do with the current judge. So what happens is, so for the first 6 years that this judge is now in place, right? His growth in the salary is exactly how it was before. It's just that there's no step 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11 that continue to increase. So the max is reduced from 110 to 80, but will always increase due to the cost of living increases. So that's what this does. to me, it more accurately and better reflects the and acknowledges the reduced obligation of this professional in providing services to our town. We have a full-time court administrator, a deputy administrator, and staff that work 40 hours a week handling the administration part of it. So the municipal court judge's obligations to this town have to do with presiding over cases during court sessions. Also, there is work that needs to be done on cases, preparing for trials, writing decisions, and also being available 24/7, 365 to handle emergent temporary restraining order applications during the evenings. The Superior Court does them during the day. So the salary compensation has to take all that into place. And to me, I think this is the appropriate salary guide at this time. And importantly, if some trends change, right? If we get back to 2017, 2018 numbers in terms of 3,000 summonses to 9,000 summonses, then we have an opportunity to adjust the salary again to say, hey, we're back to where we were before. And this judge needs to have a higher salary range to reflect that. So the opportunity is not one and done. We get to make informed decisions along the way. And I don't know of any judge that would, if they're currently appointed, would say no to a higher compensation for more work. It's just that we don't have an opportunity to reduce a sitting judge's salary once they're in place. That's not fair, and nor I would not want to be a part of saying we're hiring you for this amount and then we're reducing it to this. It's just something that.
So thank you for the clarity, because in my emails, Madam Mayor, I'm sorry, I jumped in. It totally makes sense. We understand, and it's a good thing. The township is safer. We have less court need for courts. But then why are other people's salaries in here too?
So what you have there is the entire salary ordinance. There's no way to pull other positions out. The only one that's affected in this amendment is the municipal court judges. No other position is being affected. That's all you're moving on today. But you're looking at the total ordinance that has all the different positions within the town.
Well,
So
my concern is that we're looking at increased salaries for 2025 when we haven't even reviewed.
well, so the guide is 20, 23, 24, and 25. That's how it goes. So we need to have that in place as we go into next year. It's June already.
Yeah. So I kind of feel like it's the cart before the horse.
No, it's not though. It's just not. And the only thing I can tell you is that I've been here for 7.5 years, and these adjustments don't. This opportunity doesn't happen very often, right? It just presented itself in a matter. If the prior judge was reappointed and remained on, he would be earning a maximum salary of $110,000, though the court dramatically decreased in activity, because we don't have that opportunity to take that away. So this is just focusing on the present circumstances as they exist today.
So no one else's salaries would be adjusted based on this guide.
Correct. It's just the municipal court judges. And remember, the municipal court employees, if that's what you're referring to, they're full-time township employees working 40 hours a week, covered by union bargaining agreement. So they're not doing less work. We've actually taken 2 court staff from the court and put them in 2 other positions. So that court staff already reflects the reduction in work that's been done.
Mayor, if I may I close debate on this?
Sorry, I used too many words.
Thank you for the explanation. Yes.
I just want to make one thing clear. When you look at the ordinance, anything that you see underlined is new, that's additions. Anything you see in brackets is deleted. So everything, you're gonna always, for every single salary ordinance, hit the schedule. That doesn't mean anything is changing in that schedule. It's just that we don't take apart between the A and the B because of the years of how things change after 2014. So it just all comes to you for you to see. So only what's underlined is what's being changed. Anything you see in brackets is what's being deleted. Just for the record.
Thank you for the clarification.
Okay.
Thank you. I just wanted to review the numbers because
Yeah.
salaries are creeping up. Right?
Yeah, I understand.
And everyone is valued and everyone deserves it, but
Absolutely.
I have to at least challenge the pocketbook.
Yeah, but that, what happened with that is that if you look on the first paragraph, this mirrors the CWA. And this was an ordinance that was already passed by the council for the 3-year period before. Right.
Thank you for the clarification.
Always learn. And now, Councilman Bobbitt, you close the discussion and move the motion.
Yeah, I just wanted to close the debate, so.
Madam Clerk, if you could call the roll, please.
Mr. Bobbitt?
Yes.
Mr. Kanaki?
Yes.
Ms. Perry?
Yes.
Mr. Ryan?
Yes, providing it is with the judge's salary only.
Mayor Ryan? Mayor Brown, I'm sorry.
Yes. No, Barbara. My feelings are not hurt. Okay. Here we go. We can have a motion now for the next ordinance.
Mayor, I'll make a motion for Kennedy ordinance number 2474-24. An ordinance amending chapter 83 of the Lawrence Township Administrative Code entitled Alcoholic Beverages, Hotel/Motel Exception.
Do we have a second?
I second.
And Mr. Manager?
Yeah, this has to do with approval for alcohol license to JSK Princeton LLC, which is the Red Roof Inn, that meets all the qualifications under the state law. So it's up for your review.
Was there anything with regards to Red Lobster that wasn't in here, like that license? But I read, right? I didn't read it,
They
right?
closed Red Lobster.
I know, so
Yeah.
their
They're still entitled
license.
to the license.
So that would be.
That's chattel. That's it. They own that
They own
license.
it.
Yeah, they get to sell it to,
They can sell it.
subject to our review and approval. So
That's-
this just relates to this one application.
Yeah, this is a hotel motel. This is a little bit different. This one is something that we have to have 100 rooms and over. So this is not a consumption, like the liquor licenses that we're about to renew at the end of this time.
Okay. All right, thank you, Madam Clerk. for that clarification. Okay. Second discussion. Okay, I think we're ready to call the roll.
Mr. Bobbitt?
Yes.
Mr. Kanaki?
Yes.
Ms. Perry?
Yes.
Mr. Ryan?
Yes.
Mayor Brown?
Yes. Now we are at adoption of ordinances. Let's see. Okay, we have a motion. There is none.
There is none. There are none.
Yeah, there we go. Amendment coffee. This is my evening coffee. Okay, managers report.
Hero Park. We're getting close. We're just trying to get the grass to mature in the pen areas. And so we think that we're a month away maybe to having a grand opening for it. People are getting in there anyway right now. So we had to put some signs up to ask them to not do that at that, but we are getting close. All the infrastructure improvements are done. So it's really about trying to get some matured grass so it lasts. So, okay. The other thing is we're expecting really high temperatures. And we are going to be posting notices through all the social media website and Nixle about cooling stations. That's going to be located in the police department training room, so people can come if they need relief from the heat. We've done that in the past, and we're going to continue to do.
Can I ask you just to touch base on the tornado that we had?
Oh,
Yeah.
the land spout.
Oh, they plans out, yeah, thank you, yeah, for progress,
Yeah, last Friday evening, there was notices and warnings for severe weather. They were right. We did have a land spout touchdown in our community, located near the Lexus building on Route 1, and it upended several cars. It crossed the street, went to the Fortis building, took out some solar panels, and impacted the post office box by upending some of the air conditioning units that were on top of the roof. No injuries, no other damage reported at this point in time.
I did hear that from the school superintendent that the high school, their solar panels that were destroyed as well.
Yeah. People may discover some stuff that's happening that were not originally observed.
Okay. And now do you have, Mr. Seibert, our attorney's report?
I have a matter that we will discuss in our executive session, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. And Madam Clerk?
Well, just two things, quick things. Well, the Oprah law passed. It will take effect on September 3rd. I have taken 2 courses on it. I won't get into it tonight, but I'll give us more information as things have changed. And also, yesterday was the certification of the June. We had the election. It went really smooth and very nice. Kudos to the county for they did their job. They did their job. And then, so I certified that before I came in here. So that was very nice. So, yes.
Do you have any unfinished business? New business?
Mayor, I'd like to propose that we appoint a deputy clerk. It's been like 18 months since we've had a deputy clerk on that. And I think that we ought to put it and advertise, I don't know, a couple weeks or something. Because it is the governing body's decision to appoint a deputy clerk on that. So I think maybe the League of Municipalities for a couple weeks.
Okay.
I think, is there a thing that we could do and then?
Well, it's just, you're correct in that under the New Jersey statutes, the jurisdiction lies with council to appoint the deputy clerk, set salary, etc. The Lawrence Township Administrative Code, I don't have that section in front of me, indicates that there shall be a deputy clerk. It's not maybe a deputy clerk. So there is, I think, an affirmative obligation to appoint a deputy clerk in whatever procedure you deem appropriate. So it's within the law of the state of New Jersey, and it's within the administrative code of the Township of Lawrence to do so. It's your looking at the code, there's really, I don't know if there's really any discretion in that. It clearly provides for an appointment, and once again, it's shall be. There shall be a deputy clerk, not a maybe a deputy clerk. So, and the procedure for appointment is whatever the normal process would be.
May I follow up with that question? Does the language talk about funding for that position? Because I don't know if we have, and the manager could clue me in on this. Do we have funding for a position right now? How would we fund said position in this budget year?
So the recommendation by Mr. Ryan is to hire an additional person to work out of the clerk's office under the role of deputy
Deputy clerk, yes. Yeah, it's already in a position. It's not, we're not creating a position. It's already there.
No, that's not entirely accurate. The title is there, but not the funding. not the funding, nor. So this is all new, and I'll take a beat, and I would like an opportunity to review it. I mean, where would this person be located? Is there a need for an additional person? How will it impact present employees? Listen, I will review all of that and provide what my thoughts are to you with regard to it.
I can appreciate the manager's comments, but from a letter of the law, if you look at our code, it's an affirmative obligation to appoint a deputy clerk. And I'm not discounting what you're saying about where they're going to sit, and I'm not opining on the financial aspects of it. I'm just giving you the particulars of the statute and the administrative code indicating there shall be a deputy clerk. Beyond that, the finances, whatever, I have no comments.
Yeah, since this is brand new to me, I'd like an opportunity to review it.
Yeah, actually, probably several of us would like to have a discussion about it.
Yeah, Mayor, I'd like to also say that I would love to take a pause and let's think this over, since this is a surprise from the dais. So yeah, thank you.
Same thing, Mayor. I would like to sit back, see the paperwork, see what's what, and if we could do it, right? And then we move forward from there.
Additional discussion. I guess this is being introduced, as you said, on the dais, and there are some of us who have been caught by surprise.
No, I understand the councilman's remarks. I'll be happy to supply the I'll call it legal backup for it, and then with regard to the administrative code and the statute, I'll do that within a few days.
Thank you.
And if I could just add, Mayor, I looked up the administrative code just now. I see what Mr. Sybeck is talking about. It is the wording at the very end of the section with the municipal clerk. So I don't see that's the issue right now. It's really just how do we implement it and going forward and things like that. And quite honestly, we could also amend the township ordinance as well. So there are multiple options, right?
Okay.
So
it's up to you.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. And we will take that further. Okay. We are now at the next opportunity for public participation. If there's anyone that would like to come forward.
Good evening. My name is Mike Pissarro. I'm the policy director for the Watershed Institute. I hope I'm not doing this wrong, but I wanted to just take an opportunity to thank the township prospectively for their action on resolution H4-242, support of the watershed improvement plan, the regional approach. I was here about a month ago talking about stormwater and mentioned that. So I'm so happy that the township has taken that. It is going to be a huge opportunity for this town and the region to do it. And I also want to take a moment and thank your professionals, Brendan Kramer and Jim Purvis. They've been engaging in this process for the last couple of years. And it's been a real pleasure to work with to discuss these issues, and looking forward over the next couple of years to make sure that regional plan comes into fruition and we all have a better environment. So again, thank you very much. Respectively, I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Council, Tom Cavello, resident of North Morningside. Wanted to actually talk about something
positive. I know, Mary, you and I have discussed it, but in the past meetings, I didn't see any discussion in here with the council. A good development that happened that hopefully we can get some more information out. At the intersection of Route 206, Franklin Corner and Lawrenceville Pennington Road, DOT, I guess in its divine wisdom, coming up with a sensible solution, finally put a left turn lane light from 206 South to Franklin Corner Road to vastly improve the problems at that intersection. It'd be good to know and to inform the community what is if that's the completion of the project. They did put a directional turn line going northbound to Lawrenceville and Pennington Road, but have it inoperable. I see they're doing walk lights and I assume walking stripes. This really, I think, is an opportunity, something that should be communicated to the community. The other thing I don't know can be done in communication with DOT. In the morning, it tends to get crowded there. There's striping. I don't know what the DOT standards are for striping to the turned stacking lane, if it can be extended further. But this is a really positive thing. I know there were studies and done, I believe Councilman Kanaki, you were involved in going back where they wanted to take land, make it a full intersection. This is really a common sense solution to a problem. I know you're looking at traffic light issues around the town. This is something hopefully the county and the state will communicate, or maybe has through the manager. What's the full solution to that intersection? But it's really an important development. So I don't know what can be shared tonight or in future council meetings, or more important to the community on this. Just another quick thing. I know you do have some of you are on the planning board. It's a separate body. I'm glad they're doing listening sessions. I certainly hope, because of the summer schedule, there's plenty of opportunities for more public input before the formal hearing process. A lot of changes that we're going to be facing, just like every community across the state, coming out of a once a century pandemic, and total changes of how our lives operate and land use. It really will need a lot of public input. There's a lot of potential pending changes that are coming. That involves obviously other committees of this town, from open space to growth and redevelopment. Do it right. Make a time frame that works for full public input, so that the final document really reflects what's best for this community and this master plan that will take us through the next stage. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And on that note, the planning board is having their next community meeting on June 23rd, which is this Sunday, from 12 to 3 p.m. at the senior center. And thank you for the great communication, the publicity around this. I really think you did a good job. I was going to wait for my other spot to talk about it. I'll wait till that to talk about the planning board.
I'm still Jim Cleet. I must be. I'm sure I'm missing something, because it couldn't be that simple, or somebody would have already suggested it. But about the deputy clerk situation, and the talk about the funding and a different position, and where would you put the person? Is there not any possibility that existing personnel, somebody might have the qualifications to get a promotion and maybe simplify it, or is that too easy?
Yeah.
Okay, so 61 West Lawn Drive. When the amount of pipe that they've dumped on West Lawn Drive, the water company's contractors, I was just wondering if they're going to repave the road after they finish tearing up every street in Long Acres to put down the new water mains. If if anyone knows, or if they're just going to patch it.
Yeah, I don't know the information off the top of my head, but normally what the process is that they would do a portion of the road that involves that, not the entire thing. However, I don't know what the schedule is for those roads because maybe we normally do like a 5 to 10 year plan on that. So if you want to reach out to my office,
We had a repave less than 10 years ago.
yeah. Okay.
And they weren't allowed to rip up the roads, but they did anyway because the gas companies got problems with their lines.
Yeah, there's moratoriums are in place, but they are they can be beaten by the need, the great public need aspect of it. Yeah. So if you want to reach out to my office on Thursday or Friday, I'll have that information for you this evening.
They're going to start Monday morning.
Yeah. Okay.
They really important advice.
Sylvia Cobus. I just would like to, especially for those who haven't filled out the master plan survey, the mayor already mentioned the meeting, and there is a survey online. Everybody, please encourage your neighbors and please fill out that survey. It's very important for public participation in the process of the master plan. And the meetings are great, the public participation meetings. I attended the one that was on Thursday last week. It's a very nice setup. The professionals are available for the public to come up and ask questions, and for everybody who has questions, how master plan works and what's the process and all of that, they are there to answer the questions, and they have great cookies too. So I promise the planner that I will mention the cookies to everybody. So I'm only a resident. I don't have anything to do with the master plan or the planning board, but I'm an involved resident, and I would encourage everybody to participate in the survey and the meetings where you have the visual of all the maps set up, and especially for all of those who have questions about how the whole process is, the professionals are there available to answer all the questions. Thank you very much. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Hi, Kathy Ricard, West Long Drive. I want to thank you, Mayor Farmer, for clarifying that what we're reading in the Lawrence Ledger and other places regarding the location of the new fire EMS facility has not been decided. Would it be possible for this body to put a statement in the next ledger or wherever the document, the misinformation? I came in here very angry, having read this is a done deal. That's how Leah Khan's article came across to me.
What's the article? I'm sorry.
Online, Lawrence, it came across as it's a done deal. Point one, and the people, the neighbors in Long Acres are pissed. And that's true. We are.
Sensational.
Yeah.
So I think it would be very good if you guys could clarify the position in writing for those of us who read the paper and go, oh my God, I'm believing what I'm reading, to help us to say, no, it's not done yet. We have lots of stuff. We're still considering la 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 la. Because only those of us in this room know that. What's out there is a done deal. And my position coming in before I heard what you said was this whole thing is a farce. Why have I invested months of coming to the meetings to be told nothing has been decided, nothing's been decided, and then boom, there it is, it's decided. So that concerns me. I just wanted to say that, but thank you.
And to be honest, I was not aware of the article. So yes, I missed the issue. The words.
Yeah. That thing, Art,
I'm sorry.
it
Yeah.
would not be appropriate for us to comment such as until the survey and the studies are complete, correct?
Yes, we're still in the midst of reviewing it. There certainly has been much discussion, but no determination as to anything involving placement, consolidation, whatever. It is not yet at any stage for final determination. I've attended the meetings and I can categorically say that there's been no determination as to placement of any physical buildings anywhere in the township. So it's a very minor portion that the committee is reviewing, and rightly so. So I have not seen the article, but you can't believe everything you read in the paper. So.
Mayor, can I just state for the record that when I hear both Councilman Perry and now the township attorney say that there are sort of these issues that are more pressing than the consolidation and that need to be dealt with by this committee, at some point would Councilman Perry be able to update council on what these concerning issues are, so that all five of us as a body of the whole understand what the concerns are? That would be really appreciated. Thank you.
Valid point, absolutely.
I think that is clearly the intent of the committee.
And I would just say that I believe that we created that committee back in maybe February, March-ish. So I mean, it's been a few months. So that's what an update would be good. Thank you.
I don't think it would be inappropriate at all, or I think it would be appropriate to do a press release that would affirm the council's position that everything is under review and no decision has been made with regard to A, consolidation, B, whether a new facility is intended to be built, or 3, where that facility is to be located if that decision was made. The process is the way it's supposed to be in terms of our form of government, right? You guys are the ultimate decision makers, and you've now taken the information and the issues, and you're considering it and are going to make informed votes after your process is done. So, the problem has been is that it's a problem which is kind of crazy, that we were able to get a $725,000 grant that was only going to be available for a short period of time. So we seized the opportunity to try and have our study funded in terms of this new facility or consolidation or things like that. And I think that prompted the information to go out and the cart before the horse. But our process remains the way it always is. You guys are the 5 elected officials. You will make the determination. You're telling the public, and you've told me there's no decision that's been made, and I completely respect your process. And I don't think it's inappropriate to have a press release go out to reaffirm that position as it exists today.
Council, so I'm totally fine with that because I stand behind my word that we did not make any decision. We are in a preliminary state in terms of what is best for our community. So.
Mayor, I think that we, before it's released, we need to go over it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it should be the governing, if it's a governing body's official statement, the governing body, all 5 of you should have a right to review and approve it.
If
And the
that
majority
is
rules. And
feasible
so
with
that's
council,
something
I
that,
think that we should definitely do that.
so
You're in favor of that, Councilwoman?
I am 100.
Yeah, and we, we stand with you. You
We
should
can-
not be, out.
reach out to both newspapers to make sure that press release is in there. We have it on their social media sites and all that. So everybody is aware. The chatter that's out there is not accurate. So, and if you want Mr. Sipek to be the point person in getting that press release out, because we'll be able to work with you guys directly, that would be even better.
I agree with that. I think,
Sure.
yes, I think since the Township Council is a part of those meetings, that would be perfect.
Sure.
So, thank you.
I think it's apropos to share with you the folks that live on West Long Drive and in Long Acres and have lived here for over 50 years. My wife's one of the oldest residents of the community. All right, the longest serving. Moved to when she was a kid. Okay. In any case, we feel like we're being attacked from the front and from the rear. Okay. This business about the firehouse at the end of the street and these well-intentioned individuals that are trying to put a trail to our backyard. It's a bit disconcerting. It's always been a very quiet neighborhood, and it is changing. And when you live somewhere since 1967, change is not the greatest thing. And the trail to the backyards within an unrestricted, unregulated area, we're entirely opposed to it. We don't want people being able to just wander down into the backyard in the middle of the night on an unsupervised path. It's really it's inappropriate. And so it's things like this happen. But we've accepted the ground in our front yard, and we will accept what you decide to do by the firehouse. But this path to the backyard, it's going to affect senior. It's exclusively seniors and families with young children, and we don't need people being able to just walk into the backyards. And it will also provide access to riders, dormitories, toilet, and the sorority houses that will be unrestricted and unregulated. So we're kind of concerned about that. If you hear about it or someone brings it up to you, we just want you to know we're listening very carefully to that issue. Thank you.
Okay, I'm closing public participation at this time. Resolutions.
Mayor, based on our amending the agenda, I'd like to move 18D1 through F7 and 18H3 through H10 in the block.
Second.
You have a second? Okay.
Forgive me, Councilman Baba, can you repeat that?
So I'm moving 18D1, starting at refunds, to F7, ending at professional service agreements, skipping over H1 and H2, so starting at H3, and running all the way up H10.
Gotcha, thank you.
Understood. Can I, need to look at,
Point of order, we already discuss this and take a vote per the review of the agenda so that we would have to just asked.
We did.
We did, but I think I see something that I want to take a look at.
Well, you would need a motion to amend your prior action in affirming the agenda. If you want to do it that way.
You have to take that one. Okay, we're going to amend.
So you want to make a motion to
Yes,
amend
I'm going to make a motion to amend
the approval of the agenda.
the approval of the agenda.
Which item?
For item F3. Under professional service.
Ready? Need a second?
I'll second.
Need a vote?
I got a first and second. Madam Clerk, can you call the roll, please?
Mr. Bobbit,
Yes.
Mr. Kanaki.
Yes.
Ms. Perry,
Yes.
Mr. Ryan,
Yes.
Mayor Farmer.
Yes.
Mr. Bobby, you want to amend your motion to exclude F3?
Yes, Mayor, I'd like to, I'll amend my motion, which was seconded by Mr. Kanaki, I believe, to exclude F3, number 23, 234, authorizing professional services agreement for traffic engineering services for design of a traffic control signal at Federal City Road and Federal Point Boulevard. So we'll exclude that from that moving as well.
Yes.
Perfect.
I second that.
Second.
Madam Clerk, if you could call the roll, please.
Mr. Bobbit,
Yes.
Mr. Kanaki,
Yes.
Ms. Perry,
Yes.
Mr. Ryan,
Yes.
Mayor Farmer.
Yes.
Now you
All
should
right,
be.
I'll take another bite of the apple. I would like to make a motion to move 18D1 through F2, F4 through F7, and H3 through H10 in the block.
Second.
You know what, I can see my three. Okay. Madam Clerk, if you could call the roll, please.
Mr. Bobbit,
Yes.
Mr. Kanaki,
Yes.
Ms. Perry,
Yes.
Mr. Ryan,
Yes.
Mayor Farmer.
Yes.
All right, I'll make a motion to move F3, number 234, authorizing a professional services agreement for traffic engineering services for design of a traffic control signal at Federal City Road and Federal Point Boulevard.
Second.
Can I have discussion?
I'm sorry?
I wanted to discuss that. That was the reason I pulled it. Okay. So I just wanted to, I have not had a chance and opportunity to speak with the manager with regards to the traffic control signal. I had some discussions with, and I wanted to talk about potentially looking at this in a different manner.
I don't know if I understand. What,
I think I know where you're going with this. So let me see if I can jump in and figure this out. So this is authorizing. We discussed the need that the traffic warrant study revealed the need for two lights, one on Bull Run Road and one in Federal Point. We met with Ewing Township officials and Hopewell Township officials multiple times over the last year and a half because this was an issue that impacted all three municipalities, and we thought it was a great opportunity to share the costs and enter into a shared agreement to tackle both of these traffic lights and have each of us participate equally in the design and installation of lights at Bull Run Road and Federal Point Road. As I previously described to you, Ewing and Hopewell officials, their business administrators, indicated to me that they are not inclined to participate in the light at Federal Point Road. That is the light that most impacts our residents, especially the residents at Federal Point. Traditions at Federal Point. Given the fact that Ewing, I understand. Bull Run Road, it's a little bit further down. Hopewell, I less understand. And I know you've had discussions with your counterpart over in Hopewell, because they have just created a development that's coming into, and you're going to use that light as much as we are. Since this has been going on,
The conversations with our friends to the north in Hopewell about sort of helping us with this cost. So, but I do think the residents of Lawrence, especially those at Traditions, deserve us to move forward tonight.
I guess that school on Bull Run, I forget the name, generates a lot of activity.
Yes, I can't imagine.
I just can't remember.
But anyway, yeah.
I agree. We should move forward with the ceremony tonight. My problem with the whole thing with Ewing and Hopewell, they're making the money off of that line. Okay? They can afford to put both lights in for what they're getting from that development. Because that sewer line, that line goes to, the sewer line goes into Elsa. I mean, Ewing. All right? So they have the money that they can put both lights in for what they're making. So I'm just saying, I agree. We should move this tonight. And down the road, if they want to sit and talk with us and realize they can help us out, then we go back to negotiating with them.
And Mayor, it would be interesting to see the approval, the site plan approval and the resolution for that development to see what monies, if any, were ever allocated for any type of off-site improvement. Nothing?
Yeah, I have them. I'll share them with
Really?
you. It's incredible.
That is
yeah.
I won't say anything else.
It got through the planning board and everybody.
I'm sorry?
It got through their planning board
Yeah.
and everybody. Nothing.
No.
Well, the
Good
one
job.
thing that we've learned hopefully is that, it is important, as the manager said, to move forward for the best interest of our residents. So hopefully down the line, we can keep our neighbors accountable to helping us out as well.
Yeah, listen, you could view things.
I'm optimistic.
Well, you can view things in a vacuum, but Hopewell and Ewing have been amazing partners to us. Like, as your brothers or sisters, we can disagree on certain things, whether we think, but overall, they are such tremendous partners with our community. We help each other all the time. I don't want there to be any kind of opinion that either Ewing or Hopewell are nothing but great partners to Lawrence Township.
I'm glad Council Rogers is looking into it as well. We would consider it, so. Okay, I still have to play the full one, but I'll have to work on that, I guess. Okay, we can have a motion now to move,
I'll close this.
and close today's presentation, point of order. Your motion.
Yeah, we moved.
So, Madam Clerk, if you could call the roll.
Oh, I'm
There's
sorry.
a lot of that too.
You guys go.
I know.
Okay, Mr. Bobbitt,
Yes.
okay, Mr. Kanaki,
Yes.
Ms. Perry,
Yes.
Mr. Ryan,
Yes.
Mayor Farmer.
Yes, but I still have the way to vote. Oh, we got the one, and then that late.
Okay, last two.
All right. Where are we now?
Mr. Bobbitt.
All right, I'll make a motion. I'll keep us moving. I'll make a motion to move H1, number 239, authorizing resolution to endorse ELSA application to New Jersey Department of Environmental Protection for sanitary sewer force main installation within the township right away.
Is there a
You
second?
have a second?
I second.
Okay, Madam Clerk, you have a motion and second.
Mr. Bobbitt,
Yes.
Mr. Kanaki,
Yes.
Ms. Perry,
Yes.
Mr. Ryan,
Yes.
Mayor Farmer.
Yes.
Is this for the presentation?
Yeah, were you going to amend?
And
No.
forgive me.
I think we have time to look at this resolution. This actually should be tabled because we want to include some protection for the trees and have the arborist in there. So let's,
Yes, yes, yes.
So,
Okay.
so let's undo.
You would like to
Mr.
have
Snyder,
your-
should we undo it or do we?
You can undo it.
We have to make
Well,
a motion.
I got,
We gotta protect the
Yeah.
trees. We gotta protect the trees.
I'm sorry, I should have caught that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you should just do a motion to,
Vacate.
vacate the approval and table it. I don't know if you want a date certain or, because it's not, it's not as if something's gonna happen tomorrow.
I will
do it next
make a motion, since it's my error, to vacate our vote on page 1, number 239.
I second.
You can include to table if you want, in the same motion.
And to vacate the vote that we took tonight, as well as to table it to our next meeting, does that sound appropriate to?
Well, you can, I mean, just so you keep it,
Yeah, so we'll table it until our next meeting.
and I could look at it. and amend it.
Who are following along. Okay, you with us?
Yeah, that's correct.
All right. Now we have one.
Do you have a second?
I second it.
As you did.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mr. Bobbin,
Yes. My apologies.
Mr. Kanaki,
Yes.
Ms. Perry,
Yes.
Mr. Ryan,
Yes.
Mayor Farmer.
Yes.
All right, I'm trying to
H2.
dip my toe in it. I'd like to move H2, number 240, authorizing the appointment of Lieutenant Richard J. Laird III as Deputy Emergency Management Coordinator.
I second.
Okay. Any discussion? I can Madam Clerk, you can call the roll, please.
Mr. Bobbin,
Yes.
Mr. Kanaki,
Yes.
Ms. Perry,
Yes.
Mr. Ryan,
No.
Mayor Farmer.
Yes. Now we are in the agenda. Is there a question, Madam Manager? Madam Manager.
I mean, if you wanted some more information as to why this is happening, I'd be happy to share it with you.
If you could, please.
I mean, it would shed some light on Mr. Ryan's no vote. This came about because we have a community emergency response team. It's federally funded and operates under our local Office of Emergency Management. There was a thought that it's a volunteer program that assists the community for large events, large scale events. It requires training of volunteers who want to participate and be a part of this response team. Lieutenant Laird has amazing credentials. I mean, tons of credentials with regard to emergency response. And he's indicated his desire to have this designation so that the CERT team could become a part and be under the police department. It needs to have a deputy designated, and he's the most qualified individual for this. It's passed. I'm happy about that. He deserves it because he works hard. He's the lieutenant that comes and provides us, the municipal employees, with critical training with regard to active shooter drills. He's reviewing our buildings to make sure that we are up to date in what we can do in the future. So he's a highly qualified individual. It allows us to better use our volunteers in a way when we have large scale events. So all around, it's an appropriate thing to do. So I appreciate your vote of confidence for him.
We are now at the portion of our meeting for council initiatives and liaison reports. Who would like to start? Councilman Bobby, do you have anything to report?
No, nothing.
Councilman Craig, okay. Councilman Ryan,
No, Mayor.
anything to report? Yes.
So I would like to report, as I had pledged, that the Public Safety Committee will be making recommendations. And I'm happy to report that we will make preliminary recommendations that we have discussed at our next meeting. So stay tuned on the 16th of July.
And I guess I could report a little bit on the planning board to share some more information. As everyone here knows, we are in the process of reviewing our master plan. And the reason and why that is so important is the vehicle by which we make a lot of our decisions in our town with regards to land use and all of the things that we do with regards to the township. So it's an opportunity really for the public to give input, with regards to the vision of our town and what it is that we as members of the Lawrence community would like to see in our community. So this happens every 5 to 10 years, and it's again a tremendous opportunity. Last Thursday at Rice University, we had about 100 residents come through to view many of the maps that were on display, and as the state professionals were there to answer questions one-on-one about things that will affect our community. The timeline is we're expecting to complete the process by the end of the year. There will be additional meetings, a meeting that will be scheduled with stakeholders in our community, as well as all of the committees that we see here that we have in the township, of all the volunteers and members of all of those committees will have an opportunity to give input. There will be another meeting, as I said, on Sunday, June 23rd, from 12 to 3 at the senior center. There is a survey as well that everyone can complete and should complete. It will give us a lot of information that we're trying to gather. And after the summer, there will be a fall meeting as well. So there will be, again, some opportunity in the fall for members of our community to have some input. What else can I tell you? That's what I have for now. But, it really, when you talk about open trails and open space, this is where decisions kind of get made or put into our master plan. And it's the guidebook, as you could say, the guidebook for council. And we just really want input from the community. All right, so anybody else? No? Okay. With that, do we have any written communication?
I'm sorry. I just want to just make everybody aware that our fireworks are happening on June 28th. The rain date is June 29th at Rider University. Information will go out, but it's going to happen before we have our next meeting. So I wanted to make sure that that's put on by our recreation department. Nancy Bergen would get very mad at me if I didn't say that. So.
At Rider, right?
At Rider. Yeah.
Oh, there is also there is a health survey that is also immediately complete. I don't know if you had a chance to see the health survey. It also gives them need your input for getting information on the services that we need as county-wide, and it affects the funding that we receive based on the completion of the service. So I want to also put that out there. There's a health survey. Anything else?
Mayor, if I may, I would say in our written communications, we got a lovely letter from Tom Ritter, President of Friends of Colonial Lake, reminding us that there is a display in the lobby of our library called From a Creek in a Meadow to the Park of View, Colonial Lake Park Story celebrating 100 years. So I think it's definitely worth everyone to take a look at.
Absolutely. And that runs until when?
June 30th.
June 30th.
That's awesome time.
All right, if there is nothing else in the council here, we will now have a motion to go into executive session. Second?
Second.
All right. Thank you, members of the public, for coming out tonight on this